How about you? I'm Hank. Welcome to Hamiltonville Farm. Got the Hamiltonville Farm Master Mechanic with me.
Oh man, just lies,
Listen,
Hank.
your stock is going up. Every time we say that, your stock goes up.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll start paying him.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, because it was now he gets paid in tacos.
Yeah, I like tacos, hamburgers.
Tacos and hamburgers.
Yeah,
That's his pay now.
Can't beat it.
Hey, when we left off last video on the 310, I was cleaning up the area around the fuel injectors and stuff like that because I was waiting for Brandon to come over. Well, he came over. Well, you are over.
I am here.
Yeah. And so we're going to get over there. We're going to try to bleed this 310. If that doesn't work, we'll take the injectors out. I'll go get them clean, and that will be in another video. So let's get this thing bled and see what happens with the fuel injectors.
Sounds good.
All right. So this is what we've gotten into. If you haven't seen the previous video, go back and watch that. I cleaned up this area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a fitting in here to stop this port up, and then we're going to try to bleed these injectors here, and here, and see if we can't get this thing fired up. And maybe we'll put 12 volts to this wire right here. And I think somebody said this needs 8 volts to operate. So if we put 12 volts on it, it may blow it up, but that's the chance we're going to take. All right, we got a couple more tools to get out of here. The old DeWalt crescent wrench, the adjustable spanner, the metric standard wrench.
The shifter.
The shifter. All right, we're going to use that today. And then we're going to use these as well.
Let's go ahead and use the biggest possible wrench that we can.
It's always advisable to do that.
What this fitting is, this is actually the oil supply for the turbo. And then the drain back is down here kind of plugged in. This has engine oil pressure to it anytime the engine's turning. And I think, depending on the engine, it might be the actual first component that gets oil pressure as well. So we're going to try to turn the engine over without the exhaust manifold and turbo on. So we want to go ahead and make sure that we don't lose all of our oil through the oil supply line. The beauty of an adjustable wrench, right, my friend?
Hey, listen, dude, that's why they're so popular. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe so unpopular?
Only real mechanics think they're unpopular.
It's the old fits-all. So now what we're going to do, basically, here are the feed lines for the injectors. So we want to see what size wrench. So it looks like it'll be a 3/4 inch. As we're turning the engine over, we're just going to come up here, loosen the injection line ever so slightly until we can get fuel out, all 4 of them, and then tighten them back up to see, hopefully to bleed the whole system.
All right, what we're going to do is we'll run a fuel line into this fuel can. I'm going to go get a battery and that little 12-volt fuel pump that we've got. That will go in here, make a fuel supply. That will give us the supply of fuel that we need to go into the motor. And we'll hook that battery onto the actual backhoe and get it going on from there. So this is just a little 12-volt, I don't know, I got it off Amazon somewhere. Something like that. I can't remember. I think I paid 12, 15 bucks for it, something like that. Put the feeder line into the fuel supply. So a lot of you guys talk about working on these 310s, and there's different variants. This is the 310G. But a lot of you guys talk about, hey, I got many hours in the 310C, D, E, F, G, K, S. I think there's an S model, I heard somebody say. So it's really cool to read your comments about this kind of stuff. A lot of you guys ask about what's going to happen to this 310 once it gets up and running. And we've answered it in a couple other videos, but if you haven't seen those videos, basically this is Tommy's, my father-in-law. This is his backhoe. And so we're giving it back to him. It's always good to take care of family, right? So we're going to fix this up for him and get it back to where he's able to actually use it to go to work with and stuff. That's the plan for the 310G, and I think it's a pretty neat process to be able to get it fixed for him because he's a cool cat, man. He's definitely worth our time and effort getting this thing ready for him. You guys got family members that you would do stuff like that for? We all have family members we wouldn't do that kind of stuff for. But it's pretty cool to be able to do this for him and get it back on the road, so to speak.
I think basically the next step is just to crank over. We've got the battery installed. We've got our 12-volt lift pump installed. And the reason why we're doing that is just so that we can simulate a good fuel system, so that we can take all of the variables out of the bad fuel system,
That's
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much the next step.
All right, let me go let me connect that to the battery, get some juice going here. All right. Got a little leak right here, so we'll have to fix that first, and then we'll get to bleeding it here. Say when.
All right, go ahead right now. There's like literally no fuel getting out of it.
Brando, I know they made a comment in the last video about you shouldn't bleed it from the injectors. I mean the pump, you should bleed it from the injectors.
Because we've had this fuel line off and basically the entire fuel system off,
Right.
I'd like to go ahead and try to get as much air out of everywhere as possible.
That's right.
So I mean, I totally get it. Yeah, the idea is not to bleed it at the fuel pump. The idea is to bleed it at the injector.
Right.
But we'll go ahead and try to bleed at the fuel pump too, just to see what'll happen.
Gotcha. So we've been discussing it. We're actually going to get Brutus to Branson and raise this loader up, secure the loader, and then work on what that arm is getting in the way just a little bit, because basically Brando's so manly.
I'm fat. I'm very fat. Very large, take up a lot of room, really.
So,
yeah.
but no, that's not. We're going to get it out of the way so we can work on it a little easier.
I put my pry bar in there a little bit, so
Yeah.
that way it won't like pop out.
Of course.
Hopefully that's not the right size that we need to pull the injectors out if we need to do it. Right?
Oh, we always plan ahead. That's the important part.
I know, right? I just grabbed the skinniest one. All right, do it again. All right, see the pulses there? That's what we're looking for. So go ahead and do it again. All right. There's still, even with these angle wrenches, there's still no good way of really getting it in there. Now, so here's injector line number 3 right here. So we're going to go, so it's this guy here. All right, go ahead and turn it. Okay. All right. So yeah, there's definitely fuel coming to all of the, coming out. And then this number 4. All right, go ahead. All right. Now, we'll start with number 1 up here.
Anything?
Yeah, it's coming a little bit better. So maybe that number 1 was had a bit of air in it. Not really doing much of anything. You know?
Yeah.
Number 2's not.
All right, we're going to get on number 4 here. You just say when, big boy.
All right, yeah, let me turn it a few times to loosen it up.
And then I want to discuss with y'all the plan going forward.
All right, go ahead. So number 1 is weak and number 4 is weak. Number 2 and 3 was, you know, they were, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're strong, but at least they were making, you know, more than just like minimal bubbles. Let's go ahead. Let's try it one more time. Give the starter a rest for a second. It's not doing anything. I mean, it's just barely giving like little tiny bubbles.
Tiny bubbles. Some of y'all never been down boot camp singing some Jodies like that before.
All right, so what we're going to do now, Hank's up in the cab there to turn the engine over, and we're actually just going to look at the holes, the exhaust manifold ports,
yeah.
coming out of the head, just to see what they look like. See if we can see any smoke coming out of there or whatever. So let's check that out. All right, go ahead. You know, I mean, I didn't really feel
Compression.
anything coming out. You know,
Man, have we been having some discussions?
having the convos.
Okay. I think what we're going to do, we're going to pull the injectors out. Well, let me take that back. Let me backtrack a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to take this, I don't know if you call that an inspection cover or not, but you're going to pull the cover off where the fuel pump goes right here. We're going to pull this cover off right here, and we're going to actually see if the fuel pump is timed or not.
We're going to try to eyeball it.
We're going to eyeball
to
it.
see
Yeah.
if we can figure something out.
Yeah, and so the injectors need to come out. So they need to be cleaned anyway. So we're going to take the injectors out. I'm going to take those to the shop tomorrow, and then leave them there for a couple days, however long it takes them to clean it. We'll inspect that. I'll get with the guy about the fuel pump and see if I can get a fuel pump delivered. A, we will put the injectors back in. B, we may or may not replace the fuel pump if it needs to be timed or whatever. Waiting on the timing procedures as well. If the fuel pump and the injectors don't make it crank, then I'm going to take it back to Tommy and say, here.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
I like that idea.
Does that cover? Did I miss anything?
No, I think so. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all. Yeah, we just need to clean the injectors because, I mean, it's a 15-year-old tractor. It was a good thing to do anyway.
Yeah.
And then just go from there pretty much.
Yeah, we're running down this rabbit hole. Today's been, y'all don't see this in the video, but we've been out here for a while now. Because
It's a head scratcher.
It's a head scratcher. It's crazy. And, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And I called Tommy off camera. I called Tommy and I was like, hey, Tommy, look, this is the idea. We're going to clean the injectors. We're going to replace the fuel pump. If that don't work, I recommend you sell the backhoe. And Tommy's like, man, I can get that engine rebuilt for $1,100. And I said, well, do that.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea.
It'd be a good idea to get the engine rebuilt, $1,100. But anyway, but we're going to do him a solid by getting the injectors cleaned and the fuel pump taken care of. So let's go ahead, take care of that right quick, and then we'll go from there. We could probably Google what that is, Brandon.
Well, so I think what it is this is going to be part of the timing sequence.
Gotcha. That's where you stick your screwdriver in?
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I certainly don't have a screwdriver that big.
All right, I'm going to take this off right quick. Oh, it'd be nice if I turn my wrench the other way. 10 millimeter. Let's see. 9, 10. There. That was a joke.
Screwdriver. Oh, there it is.
Let me see if I can get my camera here. Hold on, you guys.
See, I can't really tell, much in the way of timing on there. I mean, I just have no idea.
So there's no obvious obstructions or slippage or anything like that on the gears in here inside the fuel pump.
Look, I'm not a John Deere mechanic. I'm a Detroit diesel mechanic, right? So I have no idea how these things time. So without knowing the exact timing procedure, we have no way to do anything really from this point going forward.
Yeah, we're just going to...
For the confirmation.
Right. The timing procedures are on their way. I'm expecting an email from my buddy with those timing procedures. And then... Unless you, there's a John Deere mechanic that is watching this right now, and you want to send me the timing procedures for this fuel pump, because we're going to replace this fuel pump. It would be nice to, when I put it back on, to make sure it's timed when I put it back on correctly. So hank@hamiltonvillefarm.com is my email address. If you're a John Deere mechanic, or you know where to get, I think there's a special tool you got to use to get that. Because like I said, we was going to use screwdrivers or whatever, not the right tool. But there's if you have a link to a special tool that it takes to do that, and the procedures, hank@hamiltonvillefarm.com, I would much appreciate that. Let's get those injectors out, Brandel.
Sounds good. Did you replace these lines? The grommets?
grommets. No, I did not.
Okay. because you'll probably have to at this, once we take them off.
Sure.
But I mean, they were cheap though, right?
No, $29 for 8, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
So it's like $3 a piece.
Yeah, for like a 10-cent piece.
Yeah.
Doing a fine job, Brandon. It's going to cost me more than a taco.
I think it might. And I think that one's going to be pretty self-evident.
Mm-hmm.
Then...
Gotta hold that mouth right, Brandon.
Yeah. I didn't get this one finished and pulled off, loosened up by the time I figured out that it twisted. Man, they don't flex much, do they?
Sure grunting a lot, Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta use my baby strength for it.
Need some spinach.
Yeah, that's it. My fibromyalgia's acting up.
It's been a long day, buddy.
My bursitis.
Oh, mercy.
So hopefully, oh yeah.
Yeah, now you'll be able to get that on there.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at my cleaning job that you got going on over there.
That's it, right? Always love using 12-point sockets. It's my favorite. Man. Oh boy. That just did not feel great.
$10 says you can't get an adjustable wrench to do that.
Yep. I don't think I would try either.
Those are just holding it on, or because don't the injectors screw out as well?
No, the injectors won't screw out. The injectors should pull out.
Okay. I didn't put no liquid wrench on those.
Yeah. And you can tell it too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Let's see what number 4 does. It's actually the best feeling one out of all of them.
There you go.
All right, so now need to figure out how to get these daggone hold down clamps off. What we'll do is we'll just set up against this head bolt right here, put the foot underneath it.
Oh yeah, I see it moving.
No, what popped up? Something moved. Did I break it?
No.
I mean, honestly, I have no idea how this thing's supposed to come out.
We should probably Google it.
Yeah, maybe. Might be a YouTube video on it.
I'm sure. There, yeah, there it goes. I thought I seen it move.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
All right.
Look at you, buddy.
So,
How they look?
well, they don't look great. It's got this rusty brown gunkus. I mean, it's not really combustion material. I don't know. See, I'm not sure what it's supposed to look like, but I don't think it's supposed to look like that. And then the seals, I mean, they're very funky on the edges too. So
Yeah.
again, not sure what this Deere is supposed to look like, but I don't think that's it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, that's not what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
We got all 4 injectors out. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got them marked with the paint pen so we'll know which one they go back in. I want to take those tomorrow to the shop and get those cleaned. And then the next video will be us putting those back in and maybe trying to time the fuel pump or removing the fuel pump to go replace it with another one. And if that don't work, I don't know. So, thanks for watching. God bless.